Hi friends, in today's video we are going to be sewing our Pieceful basket block number 8, and also in this video I will open and share my November sew sample box. I apologize for having this out late, but because I'm doing the sew along for the Pieceful basket, I feel like it will be appropriate to show the box and sew it in this same video. That way it's not two separate videos, and I think it makes sense in my brain that way. I want to apologize for having out late, but with that being said, here's the box. I'm going to just show an overhead of it so you can see it. And then after that, I will go on ahead and I will sew the block step by step, just like how I normally do it. So, and again, I apologize for having this out a little late. Time got away from me, and here we are. So here's our sew sampler box for November 2024. I'm just going to go ahead and open it. I'm sure by now you've seen the content in the box. Our little pamphlet here says Winter Bloom November 2024. And yes, winter has bloomed in many parts of the country within the United States and Canada. I digress. In back of this pamphlet, you get a 15% off Taylor Seville product behind each of these pamphlets, right? You will get an alternate layout or pattern in case you don't like what is in the box. And so our first thing in our box is our block of the month that we're sewing, and which I'll be sewing in this video as well. The price for our sew along block number 8 is $4.98. So here's the next thing in our box right here. This is the all-in-one quilters reference tool. It's a jam-packed information in here for quilters. This would be great if I ever go on a retreat. I would love to take this with me, because sometimes wherever you go, you may not have Wi-Fi and you have all this information readily available for you. It says updated second edition of the book. So it has everything. Half square triangles, how to cut 8 at a time, how to cut bias, how to cut everything. In the back of this book, like sample blocks, like super traditional blocks that you can try out and kind of make like a small quilt, or a small sampler quilt rather, from these cute blocks. And it has it in multiple sizes of which you can sew, in a different way of how to cut. Even have the snail trail, my least favorite block to make, right there. The snail trail, it has it here. You can, maybe I can learn to kind of put it together. This is the Taylor Seville product that we got. So these are how many you get in this sample pack right here. And this is something that we've received before. If you like this Taylor Seville product, especially the pins, you will get 15% off of it until the deal lasts at Fat Quarter Shop. So this is the snip that we got this month. It says Perfect Scissors. It has a cover right here, and it's perfect to like take on a retreat as well, or to take like if you're traveling somewhere. And it has a cover. It's very sharp, so that, I mean, that's why I'm thinking it came with the cover. So that way you can take this with you. It's a nice size to fit in your purse. And so that's that. And so this is our pattern right here. This pattern size is 82 by 82. It's called Perennial Quilt Pattern. It's very flowery, very pretty. It will go great with this fabric that came with this month box. So let me go on and show you the fabrics. So this right here is called Melody, and it's designed by Beverly McCullough. This is a nice size fat quarters. This came with 9 fat quarters in here to make this lovely perennial quilt pattern right here. If you are not inclined and you don't want to make this, you also have a pattern, a quilt layout in back of the pamphlet that you can refer to. But all in all, this right here is very pretty. It's very summery considering this is winter. This is a yellow, a pink, and you have a blue with the dark blue, navy blue background. And you have like a turquoisey blue, and then you have pink floral. And then you have like another, like a blue, a light blue floral as well. And then you have a navy, and then you have a pink floral right here. And then you also have a like a navy floral. This would be nice for a backing. This is all we received for our November Sew Sampler box. And I will tell you The fabric by itself is $25.98. And then you have the all-in-one quilters reference book that is $16.98. And then we have our perfect snip, the scissors. It's $20.98. The perennial pattern is $9.98. So all in all, total value of this box is $81. So I would say for this month, the value is completely there, and I am especially glad that we received this. And actually everything in this box I'm glad about. I'll be sewing this in this video. So now that's all we have. Let's go ahead and sew our block number 8 of the Pieceful basket. Here we go. The first thing we're going to do when making this block is make our flying geese, and we're going to need to make 5. So I have all 5 right here, and I'm going to set it aside. And it's just a simple basic method of making flying geese that I used. So the first thing we're going to do is make our half hourglass square. And before we do that, I'm just going to make an HST, which is half square triangle. Then we will build from there. Let me do that. So now I'm just going to cut half square triangle that we made. I'm going to cut it in half, just like this. When making this, it's a good idea to press open. You will be sure that your half square triangle are pressed flat. So now that this HST is made, the orientation of which it's facing is very important. So I'm going to rotate it around to make sure that my light colors is going this way and my dark color is going down this way. Okay, and then I'm going to bring our other square and I'm going to put it on top. And then after I do that, I already have a crease right here letting me know that I need to sew going this way. I'm just going to make sure that they are the right size. So when I go trim, it doesn't matter because we're still going to make sure that we trim this down. What really matters is this one, to make sure it's big enough to be the final size it needs to be. So I'm just going to sew. So now that this is done, we have our half square triangle. It was like this, and we have it going this way. In the instruction, this right here, it's right over here. So if I flip it over this way, I'm gonna have what looks like this at the end. So what I'm gonna do now is trim. So I'm just gonna cut straight down the middle. It doesn't matter because we're still gonna trim it to size as long as I'm not cutting through my stitches. I think I am okay. All right, so I'm gonna flip it over before I even press or anything. And I'm gonna bring my ruler and I'm going to trim to what size we need to make it. I'm gonna check twice, just making sure. Then I'm going to size it to what it needs to be, and then I'm going to trim. So now when you do that, you have your half hourglass square done. So since we need 2 with one going this way and one going this way, and they are done. So it's right there. Our next step is to make another half square triangle, which is a simple method that I just did. All completed, and I'm just going to put it to the side right there. So we're going to just build on to our block. So what we're doing now is assembling this block. So we're going to take a half square triangle that's a small tiny one, and we're going to take our square that's a background for inside of the basket. We're going to take our flying geese that we made earlier, and we're going to piece together and make a, oh, wrong size. We're going to piece it together and we're going to make a segment. So that's what I'm going to do now. So now what I'm going to do, now that these two are pieced together, I'm just going to piece it to the third piece. So now this segment is done and completed, and I did press open. So then I'm going to take our flying geese that we have. So the direction says to press them going together like this, and then press the second one going this way. So I'm going to do that first before I start assembling the entire block, because that way and save on, you know, time. Okay, so both of them are sewn together. Now I've sewn them together. We are done with these. So our next step now is to truly assemble the block. So what I'm going to do is bring this over here. So I'm going to bring this next to it, and then this is going to be facing going this way. And then our next thing to do, we're going to take our half hourglass. we're going to take one of them that's got the background going this way. We're going to put it over here. And then we're going to take this half square triangle. We're going to put it over here. So it just kind of creates that line. And then this right here that we made at the same time, it's going to go over here. And then we're going to take our inner basket piece. We're going to put it like so. So this is what our block is going to look like. So what I'm going to do is piece this first, and then I will piece the rest. This is the center of the block pieced together. So what we're going to do now is sew on the side, which is our strip. We're going to take one of the strip and we're going to bring it like this. And we're going to take our second one that looks a little bit longer. We're going to put it on the bottom. Just like we've done to all the other blocks, we're just going to put it like that. I'm going to leave it there for now because by now we know that we need to take this darker color and we need to sew on our rectangles. So that's what I'm going to do to both of them ahead of time. So that way we get through sewing the block a little bit faster. So we know that this is going to be pressed to the dark and this is also going to be pressed to the dark. I'm going to put it right here on the bed of my sewing machine. So the next thing we're going to do in piecing this together is taking our background color, and one is longer than the other, and we're going to take that tiny HSA that we'll be making. Since block number 1, we are going to connect it to this other tiny square right here. So once we've done that, we're going to attach it to this, guys. So what I'm going to do now is make sure that I have my placement right because they are going to be placed differently. I'm going to have this one going like this, okay? And then I'm going to have this one going like this with this sewing on to the bottom. All right, now making sure that I don't flip it at the end, I'm going to do it like this. So I'm just going to sew them. So now that I know both of them are sewn the way they're supposed to be, I'm going to take the long piece and I'm going to attach it to how this is supposed to be. So this one that's going this way is going to be attached to the longer piece right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew it. And so now both of these are done. I'm going to put them on the bed of my machine. And then we're going to go ahead and, so now I'm going to bring my block back and I'm going to sew accordingly. Okay. So this is what our block is looking like right now. What I'm going to do now is assemble and put the other piece that we sewn and got ready earlier. I'm going to go ahead and sew them on to the end. So let's do that. So this is what they're looking like right now. I have my shorter piece here and then I have my longer piece here. So I'm going to sew my shorter piece on. Then I'm going to sew on my longer piece. The same thing here when we get there. That's what I'm going to do. So now that all the pieces are sewn together, this is what it is looking like. So our next step in making this block is to sew the edges. I'm going to take our large square and our smaller square. I'm going to place it on a corner of the bottom side and I'm going to sew directly down the middle of the smaller square. So what I'm going to do now is just cut off this extra excess right here. And I'm going to make sure that I press open. I'm going to press open with my finger and then just hit it with an iron. So the next thing I'm going to do is bring the other large piece of square and place it directly on top here. And they should be the exact same size. I'm going to bring my mat here and then I'm going to just put this right on top, bring my ruler, and I'm just going to cut straight down the middle this way. And when I am done, I'm going to have 4 pieces of fabrics that look something like that. All right. So our next step is just to assemble the block and then we are done. So this is what our block is going to roughly looks like right here. And what I'm going to do now is just sew on the corners and trim it and then we are done. So this is the block all completed in the kit version. And I still managed to complete it in my colorway. So this is my colorway all completed right here. And this, if you purchase the kit, this is what your block will look like, just like this. All right. If you're sewing this in your own colorway and you are using your own fabric, this is what I sew using my own fabric right here. This is another color option right here. And so I'm going to point something out. This blue right here and this cream color are both from the short line. I made up my own kit at the beginning of the fabric that I was going to be using. And so as we get into block number 8, those colors are becoming a little bit more repetitive. I didn't want to continue using the same colors and the same fabric options. So I wanted to be a little bit of a variation to, like, let's say I use 4 using this one right here, and then 2 of this, and then 2 of this, and then the basket bottoms are pretty much consistent. So that's kind of what I'm doing. And this is what it ended up looking like. So this is the shoreline here and here. And then this I've had in my stash for a long time. And this is, I don't know, I've had in my stash as well. So this is what it looks like if you are kind of like using your own fabric and you're just kind of like playing with colors. This is what I've done. I apologize again for having this video out late. So with that being said, that's all I have for you today. I hope you are having a great day. Until next time, I would love to see you in my next video. Bye.